Gas prices are approaching historic highs and are placing an enormous burden on the wallets of ordinary Americans. In your newly released energy plan, you talk about pressuring OPEC to reduce oil prices. Some analysts believe a more immediate and beneficial way to lower gas prices would be to open up drilling in our strategic oil reserves in Alaska. In fact, the Senate just introduced a bill that would allow drilling in Alaskan reserves if the price of oil reached above $125 a barrel. Would you support this measure if you knew that it would lower the price of gas?
Well, I think it's a big issue when we're talking about gas prices, and currently right now they are the highest ever. I think first we've got to do away with the incentives for the big oil and gas companies. There's no reason for them to be getting that, especially when their profits are at an all-time high. We've also got to be looking at other forms of energy. We in North Carolina have the best research institutions in the country. We also have some of the best agricultural areas. We've got to be looking at biofuels, including switchgrass. We've got to be looking at solar power, wind power, hydropower. We've got to do all we can to invest those funds into renewable energy.
Would you support the specific measure of drilling in the Alaskan reserves?
You know, I think that's an issue of a cost-benefit ratio, and I think you've got to look at how much oil is there, how long it will last, what is the risk of an environmental standpoint. I'm going to read up on the material and study it and really study the cost-benefit analysis. But in the meantime, we've immediately got to invest in renewable sources so that we can create good jobs here in North Carolina. We've got to put people to work. And we also have to become less dependent on foreign oil.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Neal, same question. Would you support that measure?
No. I don't believe that we could begin talking about plundering our natural environment in order to generate more oil on the marketplace. There are a couple of things we can do right now, certainly above and beyond a long-term plan to wean us off of alternative energy sources. One of them is, certainly with the case of OPEC and Arab nations, we are the policemen for the Middle East. We police the shipping lanes in the Persian Gulf by which OPEC ships the majority of our oil to us. We have leverage with countries like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, but we're not using it, because we've got a bigger agenda in the region, which is the war in Iraq, which is a different issue in and of to itself. In addition, we are, in the United States, we have 700 million barrels of gasoline that are housed in the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Now, in the year 2000, President Clinton initiated or announced that he was going to tap into the SPR in order to drive down gasoline prices. He did. It worked. President Bush, had done it earlier after the Gulf Storm, the original invasion of Kuwait, Iraq, under Gulf War. It had the same effect, and Vice President Gore suggested as part of his 2000 campaign. Oil markets react to signals, and the signals we're sending are not signals about aggressive action we're going to take. The signals are one of weakness.
Senator Neal, let's wrap up your